one of us must face what I call the test of faith. A day comes in your life that God will test you to know how much you love him. In 1985, in the month of June, in the United States of America, God said to me, Uma, I'm going to test you. On that day, I will not answer your prayer. I said to God, Father, I don't understand, but if anybody would die, don't let it be my wife. I have a traveling ministry. If anything happens to her, my family, my ministry will collapse. You can do whatever you want to do, but leave her out of it. That revelation came 3 times. On the 12th day of September, armed robber broke into our office and removed our printing machines, removed precious things in the office. And God said to me, Uma, for everything that young man removed, give each one to him as a gift. And I said, Father, that's not how we operate in Nigeria. I know the governor, I know the CP. If a boy insults me by stealing my thing, and he has been caught, allow me to deal with him. And God said, no. All those things, I gave them to you. 4 p.m., my driver drove into a river with my 2 children and my 2 cousins. We returned where we found that he was not following us. And here he was standing on that car crying with the children inside the car. I began to swim towards the children. And my wife jumped into the river, and the river carried her and threw her up 6 times, remaining only 1 more time. Where somebody shouted, Reverend, your wife is drowning behind you. I went to her, used 1 hand to carry her, 1 hand to swim, got to the shore, exhausted and fagged out. By the time I returned to the car, the children had spent more than 2 minutes under the water. A child stays only 2.5 minutes. I moved the children into a car to carry them to where I could pray for them. Do you know, a car from the opposite direction drove into that car and smashed the engine of the car, the bonnet, the chest of the engine. I came out pacing up and down. And God said to me, didn't I tell you, on the day I'll test you, I'll not answer your prayer. They were buried that day. The next day I went to preach. And people asked me, what will you preach? I told them the same old sermon. Somebody mocked me and said, you are a stupid man. No. God who gave, in the words of Job, has taken. Glory be to his name. I come from a family of barren men. I didn't know I would have children. I come from a family of men who died premature. I didn't know I would live long. God gave me all these things. So if I decided to take them, it will not stop me from preaching. In 1986, in the month of June, while preparing for Greater Ibadan for Christ Crusade with 6,000 voice choir, God said to me, Uma, for handling that crisis very well, I'll give you 100 angels everywhere you go. Whatever you ask me to do, I'll do it for you. You can eat 3 times a day, I'll still perform miracles. Every one of us must be tested. It is that hour of test you show how much you love God. Can we run to verse 1 of chapter 22? What does it say?
And it came to pass,
after these things
that God did tempt Abraham,
that God did test Abraham,
and said unto him,
Well, that's all I wanted you to say. Test Abraham. Every one of us must be tested. Sometimes God will say to you, do this for me or do that for me. Our greediness, our spiritual blindness, our possessiveness, the hardness of our heart will not allow us to obey God completely. We're looking for money to conduct the miracle convention. And I know that if all of us are willing, we can produce the money here. We don't need to bring any politician and ask him to bring money. I was in a launching in Port Harcourt. The chief launcher asked me, did your host tell you I have 4 wives? You have 4 wives? He said, yes. I'm not one of them. I'm not born again. They called me because of money. And I brought the money. My host went to him and said, shh, shut up your mouth. And he said to him, why would I shut up my mouth? Reverend must know my status. That I'm not born again. I have 4 wives. I have no plan to change these women. I like them. Love them. There is nothing that will be required of us which we cannot do to serve God. We're looking for ushers. We're looking for prayer volunteers. We're looking for givers. But it will depend on how much you love God. In 1972, at the Ahmadu Bello University, I led a group of girls to Christ. One of them called me and said, if my witnessing for Christ will be impaired by my exam, I will not take the exam again. That girl later became the chief pharmacist of Kogi State. And God bless her with a husband who is doing very, 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 very well. This night I want to know those of us who are willing to say to God, I love you. I'll serve you at every level of responsibility. Can we run down to chapter 1 of the book of Job? Let's take verse 20, 21, 22. Yes, sir.
Then Job arose.
He arose.
And rent his mantle.
He rent his mantle.
And shaved his head.
And shaved his hair.
And fell down upon the ground.
And fell down upon the ground.
And
worshipped. He did not fall down to grumble against God. Hey, men and brethren, Job lost 13 children in one day. But it did not affect his love for God. 13 children. Somebody said to me, when you go to church, tell them that Satan is more powerful than God. And I said to her, for saying that, your punishment will be this: every year, 1 child. Every year, 1 child. Is there anything you cannot surrender to God? Is there anything you cannot do for him? It is not what you do on a happy day that matters. Every one of us must one day go over to the other side of life, where midday becomes midnight, where laughter becomes weeping, where health becomes sickness. It is God wanting to know how much you love him. I don't know whether you know that a fair weather pilot cannot be as powerful as a pilot who has gone through storms after storms. If you love God, There's nothing God cannot do for you. Let's see the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 6. We take the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 10.
And a son honoreth his father.
A son honors his father.
And a servant his master.
And a servant his master.
If then I be a father.
If I be a father to
where
you.
Is my honor?
Where is my honor? Wait, do you know, during this our special offering for the miracle convention, there are people who have given less than they spend on clothes. Even the shoes. The cost of the shoes stand higher than what they have given. God knows how much you have. God knows how much you have kept back. Let's return to that chapter 22. Let's check verse 17 and 18 of the book of Genesis.
That in blessing,
I'll bless thee.
And in multiplying, I will multiply.
In multiplying, I'll multiply thee.
As the stars of the heaven.
You will have children as stars of the heaven.
And as the sun which is upon the seashore.
Your children will be as many as the sun upon the seashore. How many of you have discovered that every born-again child of God is Abraham's child? How many are we? We are innumerable. A day after the rapture, those who will go before us shall say, where are these people coming from? That they are innumerable. And that they have come from different languages. Why? Because Abraham gave. I don't know if you know what it means to have an only one child. For many years, I was my mother's only child. If I slept too long, she'll wake me up. Say, stop sleeping, you will die. And I would say, no, I will not die, I will not die. She'll ask me to go to the kitchen and carry a pot of yam, eat, and give the leftover to others. If my father flogged me, the woman will cry and say to my father, kill me, leave him alone. I am here in your house because of him. The school would ask me to bring handwork. My mother would go to market and buy the handwork. If I didn't spend the later part of my life with my uncle, I could have been a useless man. My uncle said to me, hey, Uma, today you used to call you prince, you are no more prince. Your mother used to bring food to you, you must go with us to process gari and fry the gari, you. And I said, Uncle, I have never done that all my life. And he said, you're going to learn how to do those things. Number 4, you must study for 6 hours a day. I'll watch you. You must iron my clothes. This is not your father's house. If you don't know, oh man, let me tell you, your father has died. You are now Mr. Nobody. And when you walk, stop walking. No, how did I used to walk? He said I used to swagger. He said, don't swagger again, because the man who made you swagger has died. Stupid boy. Finally, you must come home before 6 every day. When I told my mother I had joined the Civil War, she became sick. She was sick until the day I came back. And she saw me. Without any medication, she became well. No. To let nobody love you that way is a terrible thing. Because anything that stands between you and anybody, God will crush. This night, I want those who say to God, anything you ask me to do during this convention, anything you ask me to give, I will give. Anything. Was it comfortable for me to give 5 million? No. I had to argue with God. And God said, Oma, but I gave you this money. The one you need after this money will come from me. The one you spent yesterday, I gave you. Can you shut up your mouth and bring the money? All those who are willing to say to God, anything you ask me to do, anything you ask me to give, I'll obey you totally and completely and implicitly and in any way and in every way. I shall obey you intentionally and intelligently. There will be no reservation. Those who can say that, can you stand up and walk up to this altar and stand before this altar and say to God, I'll obey you completely and implicitly and totally. Anything you ask me to do, I shall do it. This is how we shall know those who are with us and know those who are against us. Can you come? I surrender, oh Jesus. I surrender, oh, to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender, oh. I surrender, oh. I surrender, oh. All to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender. Take 5 minutes and talk to God. Tell him whatever comes to your mind. Remember, there's no shortcut to abundance. There are factors, laws that combine to bring you to a place of honor and promotion. I surrender, oh. I surrender, oh.
Surrender, oh.
All to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender, oh. Talk to him. Let him know how much you love him.